In the forests of Kmenky, the air was thick with humidity and tension, a place that before the war had been little more than a forgotten stretch of land, with dirt roads and scattered villages, and that now had become a hunting ground, a scenario where every branch could hide a sniper and every shadow could be a drone ready to descend. Initial reports indicated that a small Russian unit was cautiously advancing through that wooded corridor, carrying supplies and reinforcing forward lines. No one imagined that within minutes, the place would transform into a death trap, an ambush prepared with surgical precision by Ukrainian forces who had taken advantage of the density of the terrain to conceal mortars, machine guns, and FPV drone teams ready to attack from several flanks. The silence of the forest was suddenly broken by the crack of the first shots. Bullets tore through branches, shattered trunks, and embedded themselves in the damp soil. The Russian unit returned scattered fire, but it was clear they were caught in the middle of a crossfire. Enemy mortars began to fall, opening craters in the ground and sending up columns of gray smoke that blended with the morning fog. FPV drones swooped down like birds of prey, chasing soldiers who sought cover among the trees. One of the light vehicles was hit directly and burst into flames, illuminating the scene with a reddish glow. For long minutes, chaos reigned in Kmenky. The Russians could neither advance nor retreat. The ambush had been designed to box the enemy in, and everything indicated that it was working. Leaked communiques to local media spoke of heavy losses, of men pinned down under constant fire, of a forest turned into hell. Morale seemed to crack, and the idea of a forced retreat began to sound inevitable. But then, something changed. In the distance, amid the smoke and muffled roar of artillery, a different sound began to be heard. It was deep, metallic, a growl growing step by step. The crunch of breaking branches announced its arrival before the eye could confirm it. Suddenly, emerging from a side path, a Russian T-72 tank appeared. It wasn't new, it wasn't perfect. It was covered in mud with bolted-on armor plates like patches, but at that moment, it became a symbol of resistance. The tank advanced with determination, unfazed by the bursts pounding its hull. It slowly turned its turret, aimed toward the enemy line, and opened fire. The thunder of the cannon boomed throughout the forest, and an explosion shook the Ukrainian positions. Trees flew into the air, makeshift trenches were blown apart, and the echo of the blast mingled with shouts of retreat. The arrival of the T-72 changed the course of the battle. The Russian troops who until then had remained pressed to the ground awaiting a final blow lifted their gaze and found in that armored vehicle a chance to survive. The tank did not stop. It kept firing round after round, using its coaxial machine gun to sweep the flanks and its main cannon to destroy machine gun nests and mortar positions. Ukrainian drones attempted to hurl themselves against it. One dove straight at the rear of the tank, but was diverted by a thermal smoke grenade that confused its sensors. Another exploded just a few meters away, sending a rain of dirt and shrapnel, but the armored beast endured, advancing as if unstoppable. Meanwhile, Russian drone operators seized the moment to launch their own counterattack. From an elevated point, they directed FPVs loaded with explosives toward a Ukrainian depot camouflaged among the trees. The footage captured showed one of the drones entering the improvised structure and detonating inside, sparking a fire that, within minutes, reduced the site to ashes. The destruction of that depot weakened the enemy's ability to sustain the ambush. Ukrainian troops began to pull back deeper into the forest, and though they maintained their fire, they no longer had the same coordination as at the start. The T-72 became the axis of the offensive. With every shot, with every movement of its tracks through the mud, the idea took hold that the ambush had not only been failed, but was being furiously reversed. The Russian soldiers regrouped behind it, advancing step by step, regaining ground, picking up the wounded, and securing an escape corridor. The clash did not end there. For hours, the fighting continued, with drones buzzing overhead, artillery pounding from both sides, and helicopters flying low to provide support. The forest filled with smoke, fire, and debris. Every corner seemed to burn, every shadow could be an enemy, but the initial momentum was already on the Russian side. What had seemed like imminent defeat had turned into an unexpected resistance. Later reports stated that several Ukrainian vehicles were destroyed during the retreat, including 2 armored units that tried to cover the infantry. There was also mention of the destruction of an enemy drone control center hit by combined Russian artillery and FPV fire. The Russian Ministry of Defense issued a statement highlighting the bravery of the trapped unit and underscoring the decisive role of the T-72 in the operation.
According to the official account, the tank had withstood multiple hits but managed to maintain combat capability and save dozens of men. Videos released on social media showed the armored vehicle advancing slowly, covered in smoke and mud, but still operational. The scene became a symbol of resistance, an image shared thousands of times, accompanied by comments about the harshness of the fighting and the unpredictability of the war. Military analysts pointed out that what had happened in Kmenky reflected the new dynamics of the conflict: quick ambushes, massive use of drones, clashes in difficult terrain, and the importance of armored vehicles even in scenarios where many thought they were doomed by modern technology. The battle in the forest showed that a single tank, at the right moment, could change the fate of an entire operation. As night fell in Kmenky, the remnants of the clash were still visible. Burning trucks, shattered trees, smoke rising in dark columns. Silence slowly returned, interrupted only by the distant hum of drones patrolling the area. The Russian troops began to fortifying their new positions, setting up barricades and preparing the ground for possible counterattacks. The war went on, relentless, and although they had resisted that night, everyone knew that at dawn the drones, the gunfire, and the echo of artillery would return. But what remained etched in the memory of those who survived was the image of that T-72 appearing through the smoke, advancing against all odds and restoring hope in the midst of Kmenky's inferno.